are books. Well, technically they're boxes, but they are boxes of books, and it's not even all of my boxes of books. I have 3 huge boxes in my closet that admittedly I am too weak to carry into here. But I've got a bunch of boxes of books because I moved. Just a little sneak peek of the new apartment. I have 1, 2, 3 bookshelves to decorate and 2 book carts to fill and a lot of books that need a spot. But before we get started, I filmed a little empty apartment tour on the day that I got the keys last week to the apartment. So I think it'd be kind of fun for you guys to see the empty apartment, and then I'll show you the current setup, and then we'll do some decorating. All right, past Allie with the empty apartment tour. Take it away. We just got the keys to the new place. Let's do an empty apartment tour. Okay, I feel like we have to start with the best part, which is the living room. The thing I'm most excited about are these windows. Here's the kitchen. And then I'm not sure exactly how we're gonna do the setup, but yeah, I assume like couch, TV, and then my goal is to have a little reading corner here, and then this way is to the balcony. Luca loves going outside in our balcony at the current apartment, so I hope he finds this balcony just as entertaining. Bathroom number 1. I already started moving in a few boxes, and then we have the bedroom. I don't know exactly how we're gonna lay it out yet, if we want to do bed there or bed here, but this is definitely going to be the room that will have my filming setup, and I'm really just so excited for the views outside the windows. And then if we go back through, there's bathroom number 2, and then this will be Danny's office. Also, we officially have the first set of books in the new apartment. I'm so excited to move fully into this apartment. It's definitely gonna be different though. Where we're at currently is a lot more like cozy, quaint, and here it definitely feels like we're in the big city. A little less cozy, homey vibe, but I think it's gonna be really fun and quite a unique experience because I've never ever lived even remotely downtown. Welcome back from the past to present day. Let me show you what all we have unpacked so far. We've officially been moved in for 6 days, so still pretty early in the moving process. This is the current living room setup. We've got all of our living room furniture out, and that is mini bookshelf 1. And in here, I'm so excited for this table by the windows. I also kind of want to put a reading chair right here just by these big windows. I think would be so cozy. And then this is bookshelf number 2 that I think is gonna be a little trickier to decorate. Originally in our old apartment, I had it just completely filled to the brim with books, but here, since it's in front of a window, I think it'd be weird if it was completely full. So we're gonna try and go for a more like lighter knick-knack aesthetic, so you can still see the windows a bit through the shelf. And then if we go back through here to the bedroom, this room is very much a work in progress. It got the bed built, got a desk here, but no decor has been unpacked for the bedroom. But we'll need to fill books here, here, and here. And the last room is Danny's office, which has a big bookshelf that was the fantasy bookshelf in the living room of our old apartment, but it now doesn't fit in the living room, so it's going in Danny's office. First up, I think I'm just gonna start opening boxes. This box is all my fantasy and mystery books, which I originally had on my green TBR cart. If you don't know what TBR means, it means to be read. So basically all the books that I own but haven't read yet. So I previously kept unread books, aka my TBR, on these TBR cards. I had the pink one as romance books and books I'm most excited to read next, and then this green one as fantasy and mystery books, and I think I'm gonna keep it that way. I feel like that's just a super clear system, really easy for me to find what book I want to read next. But all the other bookshelves in the apartment, I want to decorate completely differently from how I had them before, so I feel like if we knock these TBR cards out of the way, then I can see what books are left for decorating all the other shelves. So my cat Luca's been a little scared. Can you find him in this shot? He's here. Okay, it's probably obvious. He's right here under the covers. He's been coming out more and more and getting more used to the apartment, but he's definitely still been taking his naps in hiding places. I think we should wake him up because he's been napping all day. Hey, Luca. Hi, you want to come up? Oh, hello. I'm so glad you could join, Luca. Going through these big fantasy series is reminding me that I have this video series idea that I've been really wanting to do, where I try and read an entire book series in X amount of time, like in 24 hours or 1 week or 1 month. And I think as I keep going through my books, it's gonna keep giving me lots of good video ideas. So I just put on my Plod note pen, which actually allows me to capture ideas without having to stop and write them down in a notebook or go find my phone to put them in the notes app. The Plod note pen is a great portable and distraction-free voice recorder that actually uses AI to turn your recordings into organized summaries, mind maps, and to-do lists. And Plod has very kindly sponsored today's video. I especially love that it's distraction free because I feel like whenever I get on my phone to do something work related, I get so distracted. I end up just opening social media instead of the actual notes app, or I click off the notes app when I get notifications. And I think the magic of the Plod note pen really happens in the app. The app gives you a transcript of your recording and an in-depth summary that actually turns what you talked about into action items and key points. That is so helpful to me, just to be able to like organize my thoughts and be like, okay, but what's the next step and what are kind of like the key things that I said. read. And it also creates a customized mind map for you, which is so helpful for organizing all your different ideas. And you can even ask it questions about your recordings and generate to-do lists. And all of that is developed on ChatGPT. I also love that it really easily clips onto your clothing or magnetizes to different surfaces like your laptop or a whiteboard. I feel like that makes it so perfect for being very hands-free. Like you could use it while you're on a walk or while you're driving or in a meeting or in a class. And all new Plod devices come with a free week of the Pro or unlimited membership. So click the link in my description to get your own Plod device. And again, a huge thank you to them for sponsoring this video. Okay, let's get back to unboxing and also getting the ideas generating. Also add the Truly Devious series to the list of book series that I want to make a dedicated video on. All right, box 1 empty. Only, I think, 6 more boxes to go. It is day 2, time to fill in TBR cart number 2 and empty box number 2. All right, box number 3 I just opened up, and it's the books that in my old apartment were on this bookshelf. I'll insert a picture of the old apartment. What I'm really torn between is if I want to keep my bookshelves decorated exactly like they were in the old apartment because I did really like them, but also we're in a new space, so it feels like it would be fun to mix it up. There's also just a bunch of trinkets I could use. My mind is kind of leaning towards mixing it up, especially because it's summer. I feel like it could be fun to do a really seasonal bookshelf of like bright colors, yellows, summer books, but I think I need to do some Pinteresting to fully know. Ooh, I really like how this image feels really summery. I like this one too. The painting is really cute with the sun. Okay, I think I'm gonna take inspo from this image and this image. The other problem too is I have so many books in so many different boxes. I need to find all my summer books to collect to put on this shelf. 4 boxes have been emptied and organized my books by summer reads and series that I might want to display. And now it's time to empty a big box. There are 3 of these. Also, it started raining outside, which is why it got very dark and gloomy in here. All right, let's see which books are in here. Another summer read. All right, I've officially emptied box number 5, 6, and 7. So now that all the book boxes are empty, let's actually start decorating my bedroom bookshelves. Also, here's a look at every single book I own. Look at my bed, there's so many. I tried to organize them by series and authors and genres. Just adding the finishing touches. And here is the finished bookshelves in the bedroom. Welcome to the bedroom bookshelf tour. I think these 2 shelves are definitely my favorite. I tried to make them the most summery, use my best books since this is my filming corner. So most of the time when I make videos, this is what you'll see in the background. Carly Fortune really is the queen of summer, so I put all of her books here. I still really need to read One Golden Summer. That's her newest release. We're actually reading One Golden Summer in my book club on Fable, which is completely free to join. I always have it linked in the description. We read a new book every month, a lot of like romance and fantasy. So if you guys want to come hang out and read One Golden Summer, or even if you're not interested in that book but want to vote for what we're going to read next month, like I said, the link to join is in the description. And then I have some Emily Henry books, and I love this little guy. Alexa Ray actually gave me this Jellycat for Christmas. We did a Jellycat gift exchange, me and her and several other booktubers. And then down here, these are all great summer books. I'll put a closer up shot of the shelf on the screen, so if you are in need of some summer book recs, these are all amazing. And 2 of the special editions is this is Happy Place, and I love the art and how beachy it is. And then I also displayed My Killer Vacation because it is such a perfect beachy cover, but I did not like this book, to be honest. And then if we look at this side, lots of great colorful books on this shelf too. I especially love this bouquet of crocheted flowers that my mom made. I had the Chestnut Spring series on my old bookshelf, but I like how I displayed it differently this time, just kind of fanned out. I feel like it's really cool because I think all these covers are so fun. And little cat reading, very cute. And then on the bottom shelf, I have my Twisted series, not summer books, but did really enjoy this series. And then look at this little crocheted bear book cover that my mom made. It's so cute. And then lastly, the Dreamland Billionaire series on this shelf, which is another just classic favorite romance series of mine. Okay, now we have 1 of 3 shelves done and still so much decorating left to do. But I like that we're in the fun part now. The book sorting is done and the decorating is definitely my favorite part. Happy day 3 and hopefully the last day of decorating. Late last night, I got the decorating bug hard and I actually ended up finishing this bookshelf. And then I also just got a tiny bit started on the 3rd big bookshelf. So let's do a tour of this shelf since it's now complete. Honestly, this was like hard for me to decorate. I feel like I'm not good at like the little trinket decor. So it took me quite a while to put this all together. But I'm actually super excited that we get to display a lot of things on this shelf that we haven't really been able to display in our old apartment. Like my parents live in a really small town and they have a lot of really cute antique stores. And we've done a lot of antiquing there. Danny loves getting little cans. We have a bunch on here, which I think is really fun to actually show these. And then I think I have some of my prettiest books on this shelf too, like the Dance and Thieves duology, maybe some of my favorite covers of all time. They're so stunning. And this Lego orchid that Danny built. These are 3 Book of the Month books that I've read and really loved. The Heartless Hunter duology, one of my favorite duologies ever. And then Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan, great sad romance. And in the last year, Danny has gotten really into art. He loves going to like art galleries, finding little prints to buy. So I thought this was a really cool print that he wanted to put on this shelf. And then the bottom 3 rows have a lot more books. I love this light. Tried to place like some lamps throughout the apartment and then some of Danny's art. And now getting into more of my shelves. This book here is the thing I am most excited for on this entire bookshelf. Honestly, maybe in my entire home library right now. And it's The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. Number 1, I love Holly Black. She wrote the Cruel Prince series and also the Stolen Heir duology, which all take place in the same world. And this book also takes place in that same world. And the main reason why I'm so excited is that this book is annotated by Holly Black. And I also think the plot is really interesting. It says that our main character is Hazel and she lives in this town where human and fae exist side by side. And at the center of it all, there rests a glass coffin in the woods. And in it sleeps a boy with horns on his head. The boy has slept there for generations, never waking until one day he does. And then I know the book also has romance in it, so I'm very curious if the romance is between Hazel and the boy in the coffin. Next up is the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. And then we have The Prisoner's Throne. This is the book I was saying also takes place in the world of the Cruel Prince series by Holly Black. I know I'm saying every book is so pretty, but I think this book is actually, I'm gonna say, my number 1 prettiest book that I own. And then I have my special edition of The Fine Print. This is the first book in the Dreamland Billionaire series. And then the bottom shelf, we have another book nook. It's a little garden house. And then we have the entire Throne of Glass series and the entire Court of Thorns and Roses series. And I actually have the first book, Court of Thorns and Roses, with the title embroidered, which I think is super cool. I also just saw that Sarah J. Maas announced that she is done with the first draft, I believe, of book 6 from the ACOTAR series. So I'm like over the moon excited to get back into this series. And then lastly, another little thrifted can. And that is this entire bookshelf. Basically, if there's anything you'd want to rob me of, it is on this bookshelf. And now for the last bookshelf. So this bookshelf in our old apartment was in the living room and it was an all fantasy bookshelf. But now since a lot of those fantasy special editions are on the other bookshelf, I think my goal for this bookshelf is to house as many, if not all, of the books that aren't currently on a bookshelf, and to also balance some amount of display because I would like to showcase a few little cute trinkets. And we're currently in Danny's office. Danny did say I could decorate this bookshelf however I like, except for he has one request, and that is to display these 2 items. The first one is this Lego car he built, and the second item to display is this little name card that was his grandpa's in his grandpa's office. He was very close with his grandpa and his grandpa passed away, so I think this would be very cool and sentimental to display. And then last night I did end up decorating the very bottom bookshelf. That's all the progress that I've made on this shelf so far. I filled it with mystery books. I think I want to do each row organized by genre. If you need some mystery book recs, let me rapid fire some of my favorite books on that bottom shelf. I love None Shall Sleep. It's about 2 teens who were recruited by the FBI to investigate juvenile serial killer cases. And then The Naturals, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and The Inheritance Games are my favorite mystery series of all time. Okay, let me go get the rest of my books and let's finish this bookshelf. This is an insane amount of romance books. Let's start putting them on the shelf. Romance bookshelf 1 complete. Decorating is hard. I keep changing my mind on what looks good and what doesn't. Luca, I need to stand on that chair so I can do the top shelf. Unfortunately, he's commandeered it. Yeah, you took my chair. I am standing on a stack of books to be tall enough, but I finished decorating the bookshelf. We've got Danny's car on top, a little plant, and then these are some of my non-fiction books, one literary fiction book, my special edition of Throne of Glass. And these are a large assortment of different genres, but pretty much just miscellaneous genres is what this top shelf became. And then we have romance shelf number 1. I did 2 romance shelves, 2 fantasy shelves, and then you guys know I did the mystery shelf on the bottom. I tried to put my most colorful books here and some of my favorite authors. We have 2 Abby Jimenez books, Christina Lauren, Ashley Poston, Casey McQuiston. If you're looking for any cute romance books that also have a lot of heart, I would really recommend Abby Jimenez and Ashley Poston books, or Poston, not sure how to say her last name. And then here we have the Eden series. I actually just finished the 5th book in the Eden series, so I'll need to find it and add it to the shelf. I really want to display one series, and I love all the faces, and I feel like all of them peeking out in this row of the books is really cool. And I don't know if they still sell this, hopefully they do, but I think this is one of the coolest trinkets I own on my whole bookshelf. It's a book, and you take off the cover and it's a candle, and it's from Barnes. And then next romance bookshelf, I have my Ali Hazelwood books here and displaying my special edition of Check and Mate. I think my favorite Ali Hazelwood book is Love Theoretically. And I also did really like Bride. I think the sequel to this book is coming out this year and I'm very excited. And then all my Lynn Painter books. I did not realize how many Lynn Painter books I've read until I stacked them up. Better Than the Movies is definitely my favorite. And then second favorite I think is The Love Wager. And then my Elle Kennedy romances and Say You Swear is another college romance. This book is great if you almost want like a romance book that feels like a soap opera. It's a college sports romance and so many surprising things happen in this book. And then we're getting into the fantasy section. I have to display my Quill Print series. And this mushroom lamp I also really love. And then we have the Powerless trilogy. And then these are my favorite sprayed edges. It's Shatter Me, Onyx Storm, and Iron Flame. And the last shelf, another fantasy shelf. I've got this book light here. I need to charge it, but it does light up. And then we have the Entangled with Fae series. This series is super fun. I've talked about it a lot, but it's basically fairy tale retellings, but in a fantasy world. The Prison Healer trilogy is also really cool. I still need to read the 3rd book. Book number 1 takes place inside of a prison in a fantasy world, which I think is just a very unique and epic setting. I think the last one I read from this section is Sunrise on the Reaping, which I did really enjoy. And probably my favorite books from this section is Bring Me Your Midnight, which is great if you want a witchy romance, and Phantasma, which is perfect if you want a gothic romantasy. And then you guys already saw the mystery shelf. And that is every single bookshelf in my apartment. Not all of my books ended up on a bookshelf, so I'll have to figure out what to do with those. They might be in storage for a little bit. But yeah, if you guys have any feedback on any shelves, any recommendations for things to change or move around, let me know. Always open to decor feedback. And I'm so excited to start filming videos in the new apartment. I'm very excited to do my first ever reading vlog in the new place. All right, and with that, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!